Red Ribbon Week was started because of Special Agent Enrique Camarena, aka Kiki.
Enrique Camarena was brutally murdered in 1985 by drug traffickers while an investigation to stop drugs.
After his tragic death in 1985, Nancy Reagan created an organization called the National Family Partnership, or the NFP.
Red Ribbon Week officially started in 1988. The holiday starts on October 23rd and goes all the way through Halloween.
Red Ribbon Week is important because it helps keep us drug-free and honors the memory of Enrique Camarena.
This is Ronan and Kevin, and we're here with Officer Regal asking him questions about Red Ribbon Week. The first question is, what advice would you give to people who are offered drugs?
Excellent question. For those that are offered drugs, I mean, it's plain and simple. I mean, you've learned these words when you were about 3 or 4, saying no, right? And you all probably have a lot cooler ways to say it, but getting out of an environment where drugs are offered is probably the best thing to do after saying, nah, I'm good, it's not for me, because sticking around when people are offering you drugs, it's probably just going to make things worse.
And why is Red Ribbon Week important?
Red Ribbon Week, I mean, we all know, we all celebrate. You see the ribbons on all the trees every October. I think it's super important because it's good to continue to remind everybody the importance of staying drug-free and making good decisions. I mean, that's what it really comes down to each October, and just it's a good reminder. I mean, it's a perishable, I don't want to say it's perishable skill of making good decisions, but it is something that everybody each year should just take a couple of moments to say, all right, am I in a good friend group, and am I making good decisions?
All right. What's your experience in your line of work with drugs and teens?
Thank you, Kevin. Experience with teens and drugs. Unfortunately, I mean, I work at the police department and I work in the schools, so I deal with this a lot. Recently, it's all about the vaping, and you're talking about students who are as young as 5th grade who may have vaping devices, which is a big shock to a lot of people. I mean, even Kevin and Roman here, they were very shocked before this interview started. So we need to make sure that education, right, is really available to all the students. That's first and foremost. But unfortunately, sometimes I have to send the kids to the hospital when they consume something. And I mean, let's talk about consequences, guys. I mean, as far as getting in trouble, we don't want to go to the principal's office, but I mean, you're talking about getting grounded, Xbox taken away at home. But as far as legal consequences with the police, again, I mean, it can result in court, fines, community service on the weekends. There really is a lot of consequences besides your health that come with saying yes to drugs. Anything else, Kevin?
No, that's it. Thank you for coming, Officer Regal. All right, thank you.
Hi, it's Ronan Dimitri, and we're interviewing Miss Flake about Red Ribbon Week. Well, we heard that you've been on the Red Ribbon Week committee. How has the committee changed over the years?
Okay, thank you. Well, so I have to say initially, PTO was the one that ran Red Ribbon Week, and they would just have days to dress up and maybe hand you a pencil. When I came to Emerson 20 plus years ago, I was wondering if the teachers could get involved because Mr. Flake, my husband, actually at that time worked for DEA. He was an undercover DEA agent. And so when I decided I would take it over with some of the other teachers, that's when we started doing a lot of activities, and it just wasn't a dress-up day and pencils. We actually started doing lessons on what would be good choices, what drugs can do to you, and what you should do if you get encountered by drugs or kids that take drugs.
What has the committee done for Red Ribbon Week over the years?
So some of the things we've done, before COVID, we've kind of changed a few things up. We've had Cook County officers come in, we've had Chicago police officers come in, and we had a DEA agent from the DEA come and talk about kind of like what that agency does. We've had video on drug busts. We've had Officer Regal come in and speak to different grade levels on making safe choices. We've had the Jesse White tumblers come. We've had Walter Payton's son come and do a full talk about making good choices. So we've had a lot of activities. We've had full school activities where every grade level was on a separate system, and we had all 6th, 7th, and 8th grade play games together. Kind of like when you guys were younger and you did field days. We had Emerson do field days. So we have done a ton in the past, and we always put up a lot of decorations throughout the week. So everybody is reminded of Red Ribbon Week.
How do you guys come up with a theme?
So Red Ribbon Week is a nationally celebrated week, and actually there is a Red Ribbon Week committee or a national committee that comes up with the theme. And so this year it was Be Kind to Your Mind, Live Drug Free. We take that theme and we come up with activities that match that theme. One year it was kind of like Don't Get Tied Up in Drugs. So the Red Ribbon Committee, if you see my shirt, it's a tie-dye shirt, and we printed up shirts and it says Red Ribbon Week on there. And there's a handful of teachers that are on the committee, and they always look out for you guys to make the right choices. All right.
And do you have any advice for people of our age or maybe a bit older or around our age about encountering drugs and what they should do?
I do. So at this age, you guys are being exposed to maybe other friends that might be a little older in high school. They're talking about vaping. They're talking about probably doing gummies. They're talking about maybe eating candies that have, drugs in them. Unfortunately, I think you will be exposed to it, and what you need to do is walk away. So you could do a refusal tactic, which is, no, I'm not feeling good today, or I'm not into that, right? Because I know there's a lot of peer pressure. Or you can just walk away and say no. Your goal is to say no and to not be exposed to that. If these are the friends that you continue want to hang out with, you will have to continue to tell them no. On the other hand, what we've told a lot of kids, and you guys should take heed in this, is that you should always have somebody a little older that can drive, maybe an adult or a teacher or a friend or a neighbor or an uncle, and have that person know that when you call and you're in a bad situation, you end up at a friend's house, it turns into a party, and you're like, I don't want to be here, but I don't also want to get called up by my friends. You're going to call that person up. He's your 911, 311, and you're going to be like, hey, come get me. And that person is going to say, no questions asked. I will come get you. I will drop you back off at home. If you want to talk about it, fine. If you don't, that's fine too. You should always have somebody that you feel you can trust to get you out of that situation when you're exposed. And it could absolutely be like an older brother or a cousin or an aunt, or even maybe your neighbor that's a cop, right? But you have to feel comfortable enough to say, I don't want to be here, and have your escape route. And so you could just say, I'm feeling really sick. Have that person come pick you up down the block. Have a plan just to get yourself out of it. That's my advice to you, because I do have a high schooler, I have an 8th grader, and we were all young at one point, and we just have to have the skills to try to pull out of it.
Yeah.
All right, so that's my spiel.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Now you have learned about Red Ribbon Week, why it's important, and why it's important to stay drug-free. After watching this video, just always remember that
Drugs are bad.